welcome back to Local Decision. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Rusty Ray, and we're joined now by candidate for Blaine Mayor, Keri Rose. Keri, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And let's start with you. Let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long have you lived in Blaine and what you do for a living?
Okay. Well, I moved into Blaine in 1994. I'm in the southern part of Blaine. I have 4 children, all adults. Youngest is 17, the oldest is 25.
Is Blaine a great place to raise kids? You've lived here quite a long time. Did they all grow up here with you?
Yes, they did. Yes. We grew or had 4 children that all went to Spring Lake Park High School. We were just outside of the Blaine district. We're very happy with that school. And they're very happy.
So tell me now, after all these years, this is your first foray into running for public office, am I right?
Yes, it is.
Why now, why this year, and why Blaine Mayor?
Well, I chose to run for mayor because I think this is a good time to get into politics. I've got tired of sitting back and watching decisions made that affect so many different people. And I've always said that I was going to run for mayor. So this was my time.
Kind of always told people, your friends and family, hey, one of these days I'm going to run for them. They're like, yeah,
Yep.
okay, whatever.
Yep,
But now
exactly
you're doing
it.
Are there any decisions, policies, issues specifically you felt like were being deliberated or even legislated that you felt were not representing everyone?
So I think a lot of what we have here is we need more outreach. We need more programs for children in schools that will help with troubled teens and kids that are looking to go into college. They need better guidance. So that's one thing that I kind of focused on, is establishing those or building on those.
Let me ask you this, and you mentioned education, and that's a big part of the information that you've sent us. We've posted it at northmetrotv.com for everybody to read about all candidates running in the primaries and then in the general. You mentioned education a lot. My question really is, in Blaine, there's 3 school districts represented or in the city of Blaine.
Yep.
The city government has really very little control. They may have a very passing and working and stable relationship with those 3, Centennial, Spring Lake Park, and Anoka Hennepin.
Correct.
But the city government really is not going to have any bearing on that. Why stand up with that?
I would like to see more outreach for the students themselves, where we help facilitate those changes, where kids feel comfortable talking to somebody when they're trying to make a life decision about school or where they want to be. And I think we've kind of dropped the ball on that. So I think by getting in there more of a citywide, it'll make it easier for kids to do that and families.
Okay. Are you watching city government as it operates and the decisions it's had to make? Obviously, COVID-19 has shaped a lot of what's happening and will continue to shape that for a while. Is there anything that's come up recently related to COVID-19? How do you think the city's handled that?
I think we've handled it pretty well. I see a lot of people, when they go out, they do keep the social distance. I see a lot of masks. I'd like to actually see a little bit more required when they're going into large facilities of people. So I think that we've done that pretty well. I don't see a lot of...
Well, some cities have required it, Edina, Rochester, I mean other places like that. Do you think the city of Blaine should go that far and to require it in the public sphere?
I do think that we should, because it's definitely ramping up again. And I think the longer we've had this, the more we sit back and we kind of get relaxed. I don't think time right now is not to relax. I think you have to be steadfast.
And there's other impacts on the government level with revenue, tax revenue, with fewer businesses being able to open, fewer businesses being able to open at full capacity. Do you see a lot of issues standing in the way of the city moving forward that you want to help be a part of?
A lot of businesses, I think, are struggling. They can't afford to keep the same amount of people we had before. So I think a lot of companies are going to move more towards at home, working from home. And part of what I would like to see too is more smaller businesses come into Blaine, as well as maybe even, see some larger companies as well that want to locate more to Blaine.
What can city leaders do to help facilitate that or help pave that way, you think?
Well, I think we could definitely establish talking with companies. I think for the smaller companies, I think we can help locate stuff, places where businesses are needed. I have such things as like the food trucks. Food trucks, a lot of people talk about the food trucks lately. I think that's a great little spot where you can get together and, kind of like the farmers markets, where I think people can, find what they're looking for.
Anything else with businesses, or anything specific about businesses, or anything other specific opportunities you think are ahead for the city at this point?
I guess I really haven't looked into what we're seeing more. I would like to see a more of a community center. I know we've had that many times, and it's been shot down many times. But I think being the 5th largest city in the metro, I think we should have some sort of community center where we can have outreach programs and we can have smaller businesses come in, a place where families can get together. And
it's a divisive issue, and people are worried about the burden on tax or getting basically the investment for the tax, and things like that. But you're not the first to say that. Again, even after a few years, that could be beneficial. And you keep saying outreach, and that kind of is a big part of it, is just providing space.
Yep.
For
I think
everybody.
Space is very important. You have smaller companies that may not be ready to have their own establishment. So I think if you had, larger rooms that you could rent out on a basis of, a month here or a month there, or just to bring in smaller ones so you can introduce companies, I think that would be a good start.
Okay. So you're running for mayor. Longtime Mayor Tom Ryan retiring. 5 people are running now, including a current city council member and others who have run before.
Yes.
What kind of challenges or what kind of opportunities are there with a change in leadership in a city like Blaine?
Well, I think we can focus more on other parts of the city that I feel have been neglected over the years. I think we have focused a lot more to the north of, say, 109th. I think we can bring some of the beauty, the changes that they've done up north are phenomenal, but I think we need to have more of that throughout the city. So I don't think we should just focus up in one area.
Do you think we're going to see on a local level and a state level more transgender candidates? Do you think that people are going to see that there is an opportunity to run and to have the transgender community better represented on a government level?
I do. I've seen quite a few transgender people run for office and win. Because I don't think it's a stigma that is out there that people aren't afraid of it as much as they used to be. So I think
kind of the next frontier, right? The workplace is one that's still evolving, I would imagine.
Yes.
I don't know, but I would imagine that in the workplace that it's still kind of, the acceptance is ongoing in different ways. But on a public level, on a government level, candidates like yourself feeling, I'm going to say courage, taking the opportunity to run, and that's got to be saying something about where we are in the society and the community.
Yes. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have even dreamed that I would do this. Now I've grown with. I have a lot more courage, and I'm very happy with who I've become. So no more hiding. I'm very open, and I'm very proud.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Last question. I asked you a little bit about, you've lived here long enough, but what do you think Blaine's identity is in the Twin Cities as a whole, or maybe even on the state level? What do you think people think of when you say Blaine?
So my kids like to say that we are a rich neighborhood. I think we are a pretty white-collar neighborhood. I think we have a lot of people that work hard.
A lot of pride in the community, a lot of,
Definitely.
there is an identity of we are from Blaine and we love living here, whether it's commuting or working here or working outstate a little bit. A lot of people here do love it.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. So.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to cover while we're here?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
So some other things that I would like to focus on is definitely improving our city parks and walk paths. I've been down quite a few of them lately, and they are definitely some that are neglected. I think our parks need to be updated a little more. Some of them I don't think have been touched in 15, 20 years. Because I know I focus a lot more on youth, but I see a lot of kids that use these parks, and I think they deserve to have a decent place to play, to get together, and that you know where your kids are, you know how they can, who they're hanging out with. It's much easier, and I think we need more of that. Our roads definitely need some attention. There are a lot of them that have lots of speed bumps, or not speed bumps,
Potholes.
potholes. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. And sunken areas which will actually pull you from left or right. And I think those are some pretty unsafe things on our streets that should be looked at. And missing signs. Some places have signs that are, absolutely gone. So.
Okay. A lot of infrastructure needs that you identify.
Definitely. I would love to see Highway 65 get addressed. That's been talked about for years and years. I know it's a lot harder with all the businesses that are there now. So
And
but
state
there's gotta
issues and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, lots of funding.
Right. Okay.
So I think that's something that still needs to be looked at, because it's just getting worse and worse as we keep building.
Okay. All right. Well, Keri Rose, thank you for being here today and sharing more about you.
Thank you.